All right, this is with Alex Jones in banned video, and not with the Fauci fraud, but also with the deep state trying to cripple us financially and the world, and to get us into more social control and other related things with the COVID-19 fraud.
We first reported 2 weeks ago on rumblings inside the White House that President Trump had awakened to Fauci and the treachery of the NIH and the WHO at the UN. Now we know indeed those reports were true.
At the UN, and now they know the reports are true. Never trust the UN and the elites that are associated with it.
And President Trump is striking back. President Trump has now awakened to the fact that a globalist cabal inside the World Health Organization, controlling the NIH in the United States, has been attempting to engage in economic warfare and keep the United States locked down through the election.
Try to keep the United States locked down through the election, and this is economic warfare. You remember when China was getting the trade tariffs put on it and putting the pressure on it financially? And no one's reporting really what's going on in Hong Kong anymore. I've got to look that up. But I believe this is all a direct effort from China to cripple the United States financially and the world to try to gain some power back on the central stage, and even more.
Because Democrats and globalists publicly admit they believe a bad economy will be instrumental in making Donald John Trump lose the 2020 election. AP reports on exclusive documents they received yesterday where President Trump effectively defanged the so-called COVID-19 task force. Now, earlier in the week, he'd been talking about abolishing it altogether, but instead, he simply has sidelined them and said, we're not going to put out your projections, your recommendations, and your new charts and graphs. Now, President Trump understands that first they had Russia.
Now, unfortunately, this is on the 9th. This is a week ago, over a week ago. Now, unfortunately, Trump has had a lot of pressure to do stuff with the military, and it's wrong. And that is going to have to be played out one way or another. And unfortunately, if Trump does not handle this right, he could end up losing the election. I hope not. But make no mistake, this is how the deep state is planning to get rid of this guy. They haven't been able to assassinate him. They haven't been able to get enough plants and non-elected individuals to totally destroy him yet. So they're doing this as a last effort to destroy our economy, the world economy, and to get rid of Trump out of there. Hopefully Americans are waking up and they're not going to let that happen. But a lot of pressure needs to be put on Trump to preserve our rights and our freedoms and not have inoculations.
To try to delegitimate his presidency and to hold up our agenda to make America great again in the last 3 years. Then they brought forward the Ukraine hoax coup. That failed. Now, because they're so desperate, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg is either going to die or retire very soon, that Trump not get more good people on the Supreme Court.
So this is about controlling the narrative and controlling who's in power. They don't want another conservative Supreme Court judge. Now, I don't know if Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead or just not able to do anything, but she shouldn't be on the Supreme Court.
They are openly admitting that they're going to try to say Trump's response to COVID-19 was terrible and that the economy can never be reopened. But Trump knows that he has all the statistics and all the numbers to show conclusively that the WHO and the NIH numbers that they got from Bill and Melinda Gates and others have been beyond 100% wrong. In the last 3.5 years, Trump's gotten very savvy when it comes to dealing with the deep state and different federal agencies, but he didn't expect the medical system itself to be Machiavelli. Well, that's one of the most corrupt areas, as we all know, with big pharma and all these foreign corporations and foreign governments actually involved funding projects inside the NIH. And then on top of that, We've got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation controlling all the other big foundation money of the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, and the Ford Foundation, manipulating the data as well. And all of it has been fake. All of it has been a fraud. And it's coming out as medical doctors from Germany, the UK, Canada, the US, Mexico, Brazil, Japan go public and point out that we were told there was going to be 40 plus times the death 3 months ago. And then it was going to be 20 times the death, and then 10 times the death. All those curves were wrong. Instead, it just moves along slowly here at the bottom, up and down, up and down. There is no bell-shaped curve because we've now learned in major graphs that are from numbers released by the federal government themselves that everyone dying of cancer, pneumonia, heart attacks, car wrecks, skydiving accidents, shark attacks.
Shark attacks. Anyhow, they upped these numbers, lied about it. 92% of them are not COVID-19 related, but they were labeled under that. The total lie. Over 90%. The one doctor says 92%. But 90% of them were lies. At least.
Attacks. Anybody that dies is being tested, and if they test positive for COVID-19, it's being put on the death certificate, even though the tests show that if you've ever had a coronavirus infection, the common cold, that tests positive as well. That's
the common cold will test positive as well. Ay, ay, ay. What a con job.
Why the president of Tanzania, who is a renowned biologist, went and looked at their own national lab and found that it said that a goat and a papaya, or a piece of fruit, was actually positive for it, because even their own national lab had been corrupted by NIH and WHO UN money to say everything is coronavirus, because they incentivize almost $14,000 to say you have a COVID patient, $39,000 to intubate someone onto a ventilator. But again, we've
paid to lie. Paid to lie. 13 and 49,000. Unreal.
Already covered all this. President Trump is aware of this. So instead of having a big fight with Fauci and the rest of them, he's simply sidelining them and not letting them bring forward their new fraudulent graphs and their new scams, saying, oh, COVID's going to be with us forever. We've got to accept COVID. We're going to have to clamp down and then release, and then put the noose around your neck and then release, and that we've all got to have forced inoculations and we have no choice. But Americans are beginning to realize this is a fraud. They're attributing, again, almost all deaths to COVID-19, and they've moved those deaths out of the regular column and put it in the COVID-19 column to keep this power grab and this hysteria going. And President Trump understands there's only a month or so left to really open up the economy and get it going before the depression is going to be ultra massive and very hard to turn around. And even JP Morgan Chase is saying could last for more than 12 years. But
JP Morgan is saying it could last for more than 12 years. Oh my God. This is war, economic warfare through medical warfare and control. Period.
President Trump can't do it all. We have to get the word out about this hoax, this fear. We have to quote Franklin Delano Roosevelt that the only
Okay, we're going to end it here. You better get on the ball. You better get on the ball. His presidency hangs on whether or not he can actively get out, defund these states, stop pushing closed agendas, get things open. You've only got a month or two left, max. This is unreal. Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. I hope this doesn't go into 12-year depression, because we need to get out of things quicker than this. There's no two ways, but make no doubt about it. Everybody that's doing any serious research in this knows for the total welfare and total socialistic government and total depression from this. And it's going to affect his term as presidency. And if he doesn't pull out of it and work on it, it's going to label him as a failure for the second term if he gets reelected. If he gets reelected, that's how serious it is. Okay, it's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day.